So this is a right triangle. That's why we could use SOHCAHTOA to do it. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay, so we did 2 problems so far. We found the area of the trapezoid using our height here. Our next problem was, hey, I was given even less information. I was given that it was an isosceles trapezoid with base or legs 10 and 1 base and an angle. This is probably the most complex one. It's not super hard to do, it's just super hard to figure out what you have to do and draw the correct picture. So this says we have an isosceles trapezoid with bases 12 and 16 that is inscribed in a circle. So it's inside a circle, and it says the circle has a radius 10. It also says that the center of the circle lies in the interior of a trapezoid. So if we could picture a trapezoid inside of a circle, that center point is going to be somewhere inside of the trapezoid. Yeah?
So when you say inscribed, does it mean that means every vertex has to be touching a part of
Every vertex needs to be touching.
So these 2 parts of the rectangle
Should be touching, yeah. And I'll show you the easiest way to draw this. And I'm going to draw kind of a big one because we have information that we need. Let's try drawing it up here. Nope. Let's go here. Why are you not going where I want you to go? That is the question. Okay. So I draw something like that. And what I would do to draw a trapezoid is I would connect a straight line up near the top. Alright, then I would draw a straight line about here, and then I would connect those. And that way I'll note that the center of the circle is here, which is somewhere inside that trapezoid. It's the easiest way to draw them. It's really hard to draw a trapezoid by starting at a corner and going around and making sure it works. So just draw a straight line across somewhere near the top and somewhere closer to the middle to make your bottom one a little longer. Then it's just drawing a straight line. And it is crucial that this point is inside of your trapezoid. So make sure it's some distance inside. All right, don't put it like right here because you're not going to be able to see anything. Make sure it has a nice distance away. Okay, we also know the base is 12 and the other base is 16. So let's label this correctly. So our top base is going to be 12. How did I label that? Do I want to divide it up? Yeah, a little bit. So I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to say the top one is 12. So I'm going to draw a line across saying that that whole distance is 12. And this whole distance down here, that is 16. So my top is 12, bottom is 16. It also says that we have a radius of 10. What did I tell you about drawing radiuses and polynomials?
They have to make a right triangle.
They don't have to make a right triangle. They will. But what did I say about drawing radius? Do I want to do this? Does that help at all?
Go to the corner.
It should go to the corner or the vertex. Thank you, Grace, for throwing your voice inside Mazin.
I was frustrated with myself.
Okay, so we are going to connect this to the vertex, and that is going to be length 10. Well, I didn't quite create anything yet. And let's go ahead and connect that bottom one like we did last time. So I connected this one last time, and it worked out nicely in the bell work because this created a straight. Is that a straight line? No, so that doesn't help me much. Let's keep connecting things. Let's connect this guy. And let's just stop there. Well, actually, we can connect the last one as well. We formed a whole bunch of triangles. But I want to remember what I want to find. I want to find the height of this guy. I want to find the distance from here to here. So if we draw that distance right down the middle, let's go ahead and use like blue. Let's go ahead and use blue. To find my height, I would draw, that isn't quite down the middle. You were going to snap grid. Okay, I'd go right down the middle just like that. But if we focus on one triangle at a time, to get my height. We're going to notice that if I connect that to here, we did create a right triangle. I created a nice right triangle. And this goes right to the midpoint of this. So if this total length is 12, that means each of our little segments is going to be 6 and 6, because that adds up to 12. Well, I formed a right triangle. I know 2 of the sides, so I don't have to use trig. I don't need to use 45, 45, 90. I'm just going to go ahead and say that's a right triangle. That I know the 2 sides. I'm going to say this is x. This little distance is x. So we're going to say x squared is going to equal my hypotenuse squared minus that side squared. Well, that's going to give me x squared equals 100 minus 36, which is going to be 64. So our x is just going to equal 8. So that distance here is going to be 8. That means all I have to do is find this distance here, this bottom distance, and I'll have the total distance from the top, or the top to the bottom, which would be my height. Well, to find that, let's call it y. We're going to once again notice that this forms a right triangle. So we have a right triangle where y meets the base of the trapezoid. And it also cuts that trapezoid in half. So we're going to have 8 and 8. So I created a right triangle with a hypotenuse 10, side 8. So to get that distance, maybe I'll use purple because I did the other one. We're going to say y squared is going to equal hypotenuse squared minus that side squared, which means y squared equals 100 minus 64, which is 36. So y equals 6. Let's go ahead and cut that guy off. All right, so base 1. We know base 1, I'm going to call it 16. We know base 2. I'm going to say that guy is 12. And finally, my height is going to be that total distance from top to bottom. So that'd be 8 plus 6. I'm going to go ahead and write that 6 in by that y. And 8 plus 6 is going to equal 14. So that means my area is going to equal half the height. So 14 times base 1 plus base 2, which is 16 plus 12. All right, and that should be, was it 196? Oh, it was 196? I don't have it written down, I don't think. Yeah, 196. Okay, thank you guys. Yep, 196. All right, so the hard part wasn't, right triangle shouldn't be hard anymore, right? You should see a right triangle and be like, okay, a squared plus b squared, or trig, or 30, 60, 90. The hard part was drawing your triangles and figuring out what to solve for. Okay, that's the hard part about this one. All right, any questions on any of those steps? Okay, last one isn't so bad. We have an isosceles trapezoid with bases 10 and 14, and the area is 48. We're supposed to find the height and the legs. Okay, let's go ahead and draw a trapezoid. And it's isosceles, so that means our legs are both the exact same. Let's make that a little bigger. Okay, so we have 10, 14. The area equals 48. I don't know the legs. I'm going to call them leg L. I don't know the length of these. I also don't know the height. That's why we need to find it. But it's always a good idea when you're doing height to go ahead and create triangles. All right, both of those are my height, and they create right triangles. So L equals L and H equals H. How can I use the area to find either the height or the legs? How can I use the area to find the height or the legs? Someone new. Yeah. Yeah. If we know what our area equals, so we should know that area equals half our height times base 1 plus base 2. Well, I know a whole bunch of that information. I know my area is 48. And that's going to equal 1/2 times my height. Well, base 1 is 14, base 2 is 10, so that's going to give me 24. That's going to give me 48 equals half of 24 is 12. So H is going to equal 4. So both of these H's equal 4. Well, now I have two right triangles. Can we get this length? Jack, can we get this length?
Yeah.
How do I get this length?
Pythagorean theorem?
Not the Pythagorean theorem. This length right here. Maurice? Oh, you got it?
Yeah, because it's 14, it'd be 2.
It'd be 2. Yep. Because if the whole length is 14, let's not do that. If the whole length is 14 and this length is 10, that must make each of these lengths 2 to add up to 14. Now we're going to use Pythagorean theorem to get our L. All right, so we're just going to, I'm not going to do that for you because I've done that to death today. And people are looking like they're going to fall asleep on me real soon. So I'm just going to say L equals 2 square root of 5. Do it yourself. Make sure you get that answer. And then go ahead and start your homework. And we have some time to start it. We won't have as much homework over the weekend. We have over 10 minutes, so that you should have a good dent in the homework. Hey, quick reminder, test corrections are due on Monday at the end of the day. So if you haven't done them or you started them, make sure they get done on Monday. Whatever turned into me at the end of the day, that's what I grade, and that's it. Unless you have such a fabulous excuse. Like you had to go to Japan for some reason. So either corrections are due Monday, or you have a really good excuse why they weren't done. And it better be good, because I gave you a full week to do them. No. Just take out your batteries. Alright, and then the reset button. Or, we can go to mode. Reset radiant. We're going to switch that. You good? Alright, so everything you need when you change stuff is mode. Mode is going to be a key button, especially when you get to more math classes, because this one basically just but mode's going to be an important button. Or you can always remove the batteries and reset it. It's your choice.